to Shahram Akbarzadeh, a professor of Middle East politics at Deakin University in Australia, who joins us now. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Professor. Conflicting messages coming out of the Middle East at the moment. Optimism from the United States. That's been tempered by what Najib Mikati has had to say recently. Even though he suggested there may well be a ceasefire, his latest comments suggest that may not happen given Israeli aggression.
Well, I think we are seeing obviously an attempt by Israeli government to achieve as much as possible in terms of its military objectives of destroying Hezbollah before they agree to a ceasefire. All indications suggest that Israel will accept a ceasefire arrangement. The Israeli public is tired of conflict, it's tired of losing, suffering casualties in various conflict zones. And the Israeli government would like to continue its operation in Gaza and not be distracted by what's going on in Hezbollah, in Lebanon with Hezbollah.
Yeah, Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, has said that they hope to see a truce in the fighting, a pause in the fighting in the not too distant future. The US envoy, Amos Hochstein, is understood to have said that may happen before the US presidential election in 4 days' time. Is that realistic?
That may be a bit too optimistic, but stranger things have happened in the Middle East. One thing is for certain, Israel has made it very clear that it reserves the right to act again if it sees any action by other parties to the ceasefire that violates the agreement or puts Israel's security at risk. So this is a very conditional arrangement that Israel is going to agree to.
Much of the debate around how a ceasefire would work and how it might play out centres around this UN resolution 1701. Why is that so key? And what could be the sticking points between finding some sort of pause to the fighting?
Well, 1701 stipulates that there should be no foreign armed forces on Lebanese territory, and that the Lebanese government should maintain full armed control and sovereignty of the state. In other words, it stipulates for Hezbollah to go through a disarmament process, which is very, very problematic. It's difficult to imagine how Hezbollah would agree to disarming itself.
And finally, I mentioned the US election, 4 days' time. We'll get the results in 5 days or 6 days' time, hopefully, unless there are legal challenges, which, of course, are a possibility. Would the change in leader, of course, we're guaranteed a change in leader, but would a change of administration make any difference to Palestinians in Gaza or indeed the people of Lebanon?
I think what we are seeing is that the US administration under President Biden is tired of seeing the region aflame. It wants to see an end to conflict, especially in Lebanon. It is putting regional stability at serious risk, and it also has the risk of dragging the United States into another regional conflict. So that concern is universal among all parties. It's a bipartisan agreement on ending the conflict. Whether or not the new administration would have the backbone to enforce that interest and put sanctions on Israel and force Israel to withdraw its forces and respect international law is a different story.
OK, many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. Shahram Akbarzadeh there, Professor of Middle Eastern Politics at Deakin University in Australia.